Thank you very much, Dr. Mario, Dr. João. Now let's go to open for questions. We have it's 10 to 3. We have time until 3:30. How many minutes? Okay, we have 10 minutes. Okay, we have 10 minutes for questions and answers. Please present yourselves and we can start our discussion. My name is Paulo Martins. I'm the coordinator of the research network in nanotechnology, society, and environment. It's not always we have the opportunity to see two directors of the federal government to talk about nanotechnology in public. I would like to raise a few issues and remarks. First, Dr. João, you referred to the senator who proposed a legislation measure without consulting the actors involved. Here we saw the presentation of Professor Mario. The actors involved in this PDP process are the state, the academy, the university, and the companies. It seems your claim facing the senator should be applied at the PDP. It seems the state, the university, and the companies do not mean all actors interested in nanotechnology in this country. For instance, giving you, there are no organs of consumer defense or environment entities or working entities, productivity programs with. If we talk about, we need the participation of workers. The claim made to the senator should be put into practice by those who are directing this process. To be more clear. On the second, you mentioned this meeting at Fiesp, this important workshop in December. My suggestion is that you do a similar workshop about social responsibility in technology. Not only discussing the point of view of the development the industry can take or with public subventions, but also the other side of the coin regarding social responsibilities that are present in this developing process, and then invite all actors who are interested to participate in the event. Thank you for the comment. Regarding health, we have a representation in the regulatory framework with the people at Fundap. They're worried about workers. The forum is entirely open. There is no selection for that. If an NGO wants to participate, it is open. Of course, the discussions are conducted with parameters. There is a consequence that is foreseen. I imagine there are other instances where these worries can be put in more effectively. These are technology forums. We're concerned to make it the investment feasible and the technology from the companies. Of course, we also have the issue of the workers, employees' health, which is also included. But the social responsibility issue is also very important. But I think this could be a more appropriate instance. Other organs, because the state is something very complex and very wide. Basically, we need we have two ministries who have this focus in common in the case of the forum, so we try to take care of these issues to equip the productive sector to face the strong competition that is to come. Our concern is to train our sector. Is to train our sector, yeah. Minister, my name is William Weisman. I'm the coordinator of this event. First of all, I would like to point an aspect. This senator was supposed to come here, but for obvious reasons, he didn't come anymore because he became a governor. So he was invited because he made a law project, and he could have been a speaker. He could have been a speaker, but his project arises after a TV program where a scientist, an international scientist, makes approaches that are targeted not according to the senator's proposal. So he made this proposal on an interview. He was invited, but he excused himself because he's assembling the secretariat and was unable to come. The second issue is that I also make part of this forum and the regulatory framework. I don't see any contradiction in being able to discuss social aspects. I think NNI today encourages that. The last meeting of NNI, which was the last one I was there, has discussed within the industrial logic the ethical, health and social issues. One of the large problems we have, not only in nanotechnology but in the technological logic in general, come from that project. When our students imagine a project that it's not introduced in this project, its impact possibilities. So you think only in your technical logic. What will they do? What will be the most immediate action under the technical point of view? Maybe it would be interesting since the second grade. It's a cultural issue. To my project, I should incorporate issues regarding the potential impact in health and in the environment. That's why I think it's extremely important to discuss it in the industrial space. For instance, I should not start with sanitary surveillance as a post fact. I should not put Anvisa only to repress. They should help the process since the beginning, from the beginning. This transformation that is not our tradition, and maybe we could start to work with that. Thank you. Well, starting with the end, I don't see any contradiction. I also know NNI's works. There is this disciplinarity is essential. I don't know if our specific forum of competitiveness and technology will be the ideal place for this discussion. There will be other fora where you can deal this with more deepness. Well, regarding Anvisa, our forum, the Minister of the Development, works it on a volunteer basis. There's no people are not forced to appear, and in the case of Anvisa, which is a difficult agency to come to a forum, Your claim is we need to talk to the people from Anvisa to see if this is possible to do. So Anvisa has a specific, peculiar methodology. They are under an extraordinary pressure, and they have a very restricted method. And after many efforts, Dr. Silva, we were able to attract Anvisa to this discussion. I agree that if we could bring Anvisa to the pre-industrial manufacturer, I hope we can do that. Regarding the senator, as you said, we knew that he would be here. It would be an excellent place to talk. He's a very well. He has very good intentions and is very motivated by the TV program Global Ciencia. I think it was a little bit premature. If he would have consulted people before, it would have been better. Maybe he's talked to some people, but in the forum he didn't speak to anybody and made the project. And a few people, the way this discussion is made, tagging in a non-technological product is not a consensus. Please, Dr. Lanari Janjira Dantas, I'm expert in medicine in work in Pernambuco. I would like to know if in this FIESP workshop are there things included about the does it include subjects about the workers' employees' health? This is the moment because many entities, important entities, will be there because China is very advanced, but 8 people died for pulmonary processes. What are we doing? Do we think Anvisa was going to do anything? I don't think they are going to do anything. In reality, I would like to know if there is a possibility to include this in this workshop that will get together all business people that are interested in this subject. So they could deal with future issues, with nanoparticles, nanotechnology. We don't know if these business people will leave these particles alone. I just make a brief comment about the textile sector. I think right now you can using a shirt that has a nanotechnological product included in your T-shirt. In the international trade, we are discussing how does it in a harmonized system, how are we going to introduce these product specs, because we don't have an international legislation in the globalized market, and this is not the defense of the business entity, of the business people. I see 2 fragilities. For today, people don't think of international competitiveness without thinking of social and environmental aspects. In Europe, you cannot. When you buy a textile product, you have to consider this. Social responsibility of the companies is also a large discussion. How can we do it in a more homogeneous way? In China, if you enter the site, there is a group that deals with social and environmental aspects of the companies. It is this in the forum. We should use nanotechnology to integrate chains because these changes don't come together. Professor Norberto could talk about this integration. I think it's crazy how this integration of health with the textile sector. Brazil does not produce medical textiles because the added value products are in certain segments that the integration in the chain could help out. Sorry for the comment. I agree completely with what you say. Uh, there in this workshop, the platform will be the debate will be open if you want to talk about health or how this will affect the production process. I can see Dr. Our coordinator of the GT. He seems to be a bit worried. This is a business workshop, but there is room for employees' health discussion. And another important thing was the need of their social responsibility to conquer external markets. This is a basic data. People are aware of that. There is no choice. Social and environmental responsibility. That's essential.
Is adequate to this. So this is very good. Who competes in an adequate way in favor of the sustainability is a competitor in a long range. He has a future, and this is part of the differential part. So it's the same saying. It's useless to say in discussions that you are contrary to productivity, and you are if you are disconnected with the interdisciplinarity. So we have to do all this together. From one side, the social sciences that are talking about something in terms, and on the other side, the business people. But the bottleneck that is strategic in the nano, we changed in the 21st century an economy that is based on this knowledge. So the industrial societies cannot continue to think that who produces knowledge is the academy. So what I would like to say that if these businessmen do not invest in laboratories and continuing to say that we in the academies should pay and do all this work. We have this input from the United States and from Europe in this level of craftsmanship. We cannot compete in the future level. So they have to, yes, invest in laboratories, and we have to have academical scientists who are going to form new scientists who will work in the industries. We do not have big industries in Brazil who dispute in international level that don't have researchers. They expect us in the academy, at the university, to do their work. So I think that they should not. Nanotechnology has to happen, the research in the industry as well. And I think this is fundamental. Thank you. I think it's a question of language, of sustainability. When we spoke about the farm, I think we could say it in this way. The farm was created with this entrepreneurial vocation. It can assemble in a physical time that depends on the schedule of people, and of which took these people to focus in certain objectives, certain priorities and goals, in the sense of agreeing with what you said, in the sense of also stimulating the company. So this is what took us to the issue of the health and the science, social sciences, but as a priority, because of the physical time, it was established that we should list these goals. So the issue of the health of the worker is important, but not the dominant one in this specific farm. In other farms, it will be. The farm doesn't want to be the only instance, the unique instance that will monopolize the nanotechnology in Brazil. It was created to see the technology as a productive strategy. I would like to compliment to say that when we speak about national companies and companies, international companies, and dimensions of companies, when we see the Brascan or other companies, which are, what I think is, in the case of the companies of, we're talking about the small and the medium companies. These are the ones that should change their culture. So the dialogue is mutual. I even think that the academy doesn't know how to also get through. Unicamp, we have to be careful with the criticism. I think that a problem that the forum faces is where they're going to locate the resources, because sometimes the projects go to very strong international companies. So who are you going to privilege? I think there are many challenges in this forum. My name is Richard Dooley. I would like to say that after the presentation of Professor Hawk, who shows the international scenario of nanotechnology, and the presentation of Professor Mário and João from Brazil, and also in the exposition of Dr. João, the dissemination of nanotechnology, I would say that, and Dr. Paulo in the Renossoma. What is Renossoma? It's basically to discuss and debate from the positive and negative light the possible social and environmental and economical situations. But the media insists in saying that nanotechnology is an exotic thing. I have been sending emails to the Folha, which is a newspaper in São Paulo, saying that you talk about robots, but you do not explain what the buckyball is. Luiz Nassif also, I sent him some emails. Also, I have been to events in ABIT, that is the Textile Brazilian Association, Industry Association, and they continue to announce it as an exotic thing. There is also the Fundacem that has a big activity, that made some brochures, and Quaresma, who writes his book. We go through the 7 seminars. We made a research about the impact of nanotechnology in the soy production, and Coladori also. But the media still treat it as an exotic issue. As I continue to research more in the internet and see the videos of Professor Rocco and others, I only do this, but it's the volume of information is huge, and the market value is, and the media. So the state has to talk about the sector of communication of the state for them to see, so for the Brazilian government to see, because I think it is more for the media. They talk about nanotechnological Brazilian companies that are selling robots. So it's not real, absolutely. We have to end here our answers and questions, and thank our speakers. Thank you very much.